So the Niners addressed two weaknesses: cornerback, special teams. They really did address them. Now they got a hole at strong safety. And it seems like the plan is to expect a big leap in year two from Talanoa Hufanga. That
Mhm.
seems like not really a plan. Again, a hope and an aspiration. Do you read it the same way? And what do you think the Niners need to do here at strong safety?
I do read it the same way. I don't. Maybe there's a move for another free agent that they're going to, but I have a pretty good opinion. I would say an educated opinion that I don't think Jaquaski Tart is part of the Niners' future plans. Um, Obviously, I'm speculating, but I feel like this is educated speculation in my opinion. So I don't think Jaquaski Tart's going to return. It's just my guess. I think the signing of George Odom, paying him maybe a little bit more than what a star special teamer would pay, seems to me that his deal is going to be worth up to based on his defensive contribution. So to me, that part of the reason I think that, they might have been able to prime away from the Colts because I doubt the Colts would have just let him walk away. They have cap room. And George Odom is a hell of a special teamer. There's no doubt about that. He is a hell of a special teamer. I think is that the Niners might have
He is
promised
really good.
an opportunity to come and compete for the starting job, a promise that the Colts might not have been able
Right.
to give him because their safeties are pretty good. So that would be my read on the
George
situation.
Odom doesn't know how much the Niners love this fifth round pick from USC last year that he's never heard of named
Yeah,
Talanoa. He has no idea.
and I think that they do really like Talanoa Hufanga. I think that John Lynch is close with Troy Polamalu, and we know Hall of Fame safeties. The Hall of Fame guys move together, and we know
True.
Troy Polamalu trains with Talanoa Hufanga, so I think they really like him. They gave him every opportunity to come in and play last year, and at times he did some things really well. Um, for me, having him,
That was
just
diplomatic.
get the starting safety job would be a little bit like when you moved Jimmy Ward to corner in 2018 and gave Adrian Colbert that starting safety job in camp. And he was kind of getting beat up and down in camp. If you remember, Garoppolo was putting the ball over the top probably more than he's ever done in his career to Richie James and Marquise Goodwin, and guys were
True.
getting behind him. And it culminated with Adrian
Josh
Colbert,
Rosen.
who, by the way, I don't want him catching strays. Really, really nice guy. Chatted it up with him in Twitter
Who?
Spaces. He
Oh,
was
Adrian Colbert.
very
Yeah.
kind to me, Adrian
Yeah.
Colbert. But
No, Adrian
it
Colbert
all,
didn't do anything wrong. He was just a symptom of their misevaluation. Sorry, Adrian.
yeah, and his
It was a
moments as a
little
starting safety
romanticizing.
culminated with Christian Kirk running by him in the greatest throw of Josh Rosen's career. You're playing single high. You shouldn't get beat in the middle of field closed coverage, throwing on a post route. He did. Apparently he was hurt
But
during that
Adrian
time,
Colbert was
so
like a
it's a
special
benefit
teamer,
of the
a
doubt.
seventh
Yeah,
rounder special teamer that the
and
Niners fell in love with.
and my thing with Hufanga, right? He had a lot of good moments, right? And look, he's 21 years old. You can't say like, oh, Hufanga can't be this, because there's a lot of development and growth that has to happen for him, and he's going to get the opportunity to do that. But I think you can say that he doesn't have maybe the prototypical traits
No.
that a starting, really good starting safety has, and he certainly doesn't have the physical traits that Jaquaski Tart has. And I want to talk a little bit about Jaquaski Tart and in those and just a couple of the things that he does
You're
that
being hold
makes
on real
him,
quick. You're being very diplomatic. We're going to come back to Tart. I just want to say real quick on Talanoa Hufanga.
yeah.
The clinical term for what he is hella slow. Hella
It's
slow.
but it's
Four
not
six
just
four.
slow. He's not. It's a lack of fluidity and explosion too. That's a little bit
That's not
scary.
good.
And I think he has potential to be solid in the box. But even in the box, at times I when I watched him, we're going off of 1 year. We don't know how much he could get bigger. He could get stronger. He could get faster. He might change his diet. All of those things are possible. But Jaquaski Tart, when it comes to playing in the box in the run game, especially as a C or D gap filler, filling the bubble, he understands run fits and how to do it as good as any safety in the NFL. He's really, really good in the blocks.
And he
He
can run.
understands how to take on blockers. He understands how to fill his hole. He understands how to win his gap. He does it at a really, really high level. And then he adds coverage skills in the back end, which are really, really good because he has unbelievable range. He's really fast. He has great hips, and he has a good understanding of pass concepts where he's able to eliminate anything that comes into his zone. And he has a physical skill set that's a little bit more special than Hufanga because he's bigger and he has better range. So he can go from the hash to the sideline, which is something that, Hufanga struggled with a little bit at
He
times
has the same
when he
40
played.
time as Fred Warner, man. Freaking, they run the same 40. Fred Warner and Talanoa. And Fred Warner was a DB in college, and they moved him to linebacker. I think Talanoa is a linebacker, and they're going to play him at safety. I don't get it.
I mean, again, possible. And, this could be mood if George Odom comes in and wins the job. And maybe George Odom's a really good
Is
safety
George
that never
Odom
got
an
the
upgrade over
opportunity.
Jaquaski
I'll
Tart,
give
though?
them I don't think so.
I don't
I will
think
give
so.
them that benefit of the doubt. And I think there's starting caliber safeties left in this market. I think Terrell Edmonds from Pittsburgh is a hell of a player, kind of similar to
There's
Jaquaski
Matthew.
Tart. That would be the player that I would love for them to sign.
There's
Matthew,
more.
I think Matthew's taken a little bit of a step back last year, but
No
he's
question.
still Tyrann Matthew. He's a future
Still
Hall of
Tyrann
Famer.
Matthew.
So,
Yeah. Better than
I
George
think
Odom. Sorry, George.
I don't think that's
So better than
too
Talanoa.
controversial to
Talanoa.
say. I don't think that's very controversial to
I
say.
don't see
So
why the Niners are so content to take a step back at this position. Why?
and maybe they have a guy they really like in the draft, and they want to do this kind of, okay, we're just going to bring in
Great.
competition, and
Cool.
hopefully someone shows themselves.
Cool.
Okay, we can give them that
I'm
benefit
open-minded.
of the doubt. But the thing is, and here's the thing, that benefit of the doubt totally exists. It does exist, but the position remains a question mark until we're able to visually see one of these guys take advantage of the benefit of the doubt, whether it's a rookie, whether it's George Odom, whether it's Hufanga, or Hufunga, excuse me, not Hufanga. Until one of these guys, shows that they can play at a starting caliber level, which is what Jaquaski Tart has provided for the 49ers, been very steady when he plays.
Yes.
I mean, again, injuries are a question mark for him, but he's been very steady.
He's
Until
a solid B starting
that,
safety. He's a good
right.
safety. And the Niners are now going to go to C-. Why? Why would you do that? Like, I'm cool with upgrading on Jaquaski Tart, but not just letting him walk for the sake of letting him walk. Like, that's silly. Upgrade.
And yeah, I mean, I would also like them to, go get maybe Terrell Edmonds, who I wouldn't say for sure is an upgrade because I don't think he's good in the run game as Tart, but I do think he's younger, and you can maybe, he fits the same mold as Tarvarius Ward, where you can sign him to a similar type contract where you can be cheap for 2 years and get him maybe a little more expensive for third year. He can grow. You do a really good job of coaching and developing. Yeah.
So
I think with Hufanga, and at least what I saw from his rookie year, I think it puts a lot of a little bit extra on Jimmy Ward, because there was moments when he had to play where Hufanga being limited in certain ways put a lot more on what Jimmy Ward was asked to do. And you can simplify Hufanga's assignments, and maybe he makes a play here or there, and Niners fans go, see, he's making a play. Tart would never do that, but they wouldn't ask Tart to do something like that because Tart is so versatile. They can ask him to do something a bit more difficult and compensate for another player to be put in a position where it's a little easier assignment, read one gap, make a play, that type of thing. It's a little more complicated and nuanced than just that. And I think,
think about what Talanoa's limitations, the domino effect they're going to have on the defense. Like, think about the Niners played a lot of off
George Odom
with two deep safeties. What happens when it's Talanoa back there instead of Tart? How's that going to affect the cornerbacks that you have on your team? I'm curious. It's going to have a ripple effect.
Yeah, and I wonder if they would go back to maybe a little more defined strong safety, free safety, instead of having one drop down based on strength and all of that. But then again, like Grant, and we're going to be talking about this all off season, and now we're getting maybe a little too much into the X's and O's and all of that. But one of their biggest benefits is being able to just drop Jimmy Ward on any tight end in the NFL. And, he tweeted about, or he put it on his Insta story and all of that, and he lived up to the talk. There was not a tight end in the NFL that did.
Which means
you need a free safety to compliment him.
You need a free safety to compliment him. Tart could be both. Talanoa can't be both. No, he runs. It's like putting Fred Warner at free safety. No.